Hello friends, welcome back to GK Sports India YouTube channel. Well, it was a sporting weekend that just went by. Cricket, of course, the FIFA World Cup 2026. Interestingly, hockey, where Indian women got promoted in FIH Women's Nations Cup 2025-26, where they defeated New Zealand, the host team, to storm into the Pro League only a year after relegation. So that's good news for Indian women's hockey team. The Indian women ranked 9th in the world, defeating the 10th ranked New Zealand in the final 2-0 to get promoted. And of course, it's not so good news for the Indian women's cricket team, who on Sunday lost against South Africa women in a crucial group stage league match of the ICC Women's T20 World Cup in Manchester. Men's team did quite well, or rather exceedingly well. India A expectedly winning the Tri-Nations final, defeating the hosts Sri Lanka A by 66 runs, and who else but Vaibhav Suryavanshi hogging the limelight. In the league matches, not one single 50, but he is one who has been rising to the occasion. Perhaps the man for the big matches, or rather the boy for the big matches. We saw him score that big 175 in the ICC Men's Under-19 World Cup in Zimbabwe earlier this year, and in the final on Sunday, he scored 94 runs of only 29 deliveries. Madness, crazy hitting. The opposition doesn't matter to him. He scored the fastest ever List A 50 in just 11 balls. 5 fours, 5 sixes, and just one dot ball in between. So 5 fours are 20, 5 sixes are 30, 20 plus 30, 50, 10 balls, scoring shots, and there was one dot ball. And the fastest 100 record, which stands in the name of Jake McGurk, who scored 100 in 29 deliveries, was under threat. But then Vaibhav Suryavanshi fell with just one hit away from the 3-figure mark. Vaibhav Suryavanshi, 94 runs in just 29 balls, the same number of deliveries that McGurk took to score the fastest List A 100. Vaibhav Suryavanshi fell short, going for another big hit, having already scored 10 fours and 8 sixes in his 94. 29 deliveries was what he faced for 94. Falling yet again in the 90s. In the recent times, we saw him fall in the last 4 innings of IPL 3 times. Vaibhav Suryavanshi falling in the 90s, 96, 97, 93 in IPL just concluded, and yet another 90s for Vaibhav Suryavanshi, going for his 9th six. Well, 29 deliveries. It is the same number of deliveries that his opening partner Priyansh Arya took to score 39 runs, as the two openers shared 132 run for the first wicket against Sri Lanka A. India posting 377 for 9, and the target was too big for Sri Lanka A's comfort, and they could manage only 311 all out. So 66 run win for India A in the Tri-Series final, and Vaibhav Suryavanshi obviously the player of the match. Vaibhav Suryavanshi, will see more of him in the coming days. India tour of Ireland for 2 T20s this month end on 26th and 28th, followed by 5 T20s in England. That will test Vaibhav Suryavanshi's character, his game awareness, how he adapts to the European conditions. Ireland and England not the same as in India or the Asian subcontinent, but Vaibhav Suryavanshi will definitely cherish the challenge of those conditions. India expectedly won the third ODI against the visiting Afghanistan, wiping out the visitors in the one-off test and the three ODIs, winning the third ODI in Chennai, having already bagged the series in the second ODI in Lucknow last week. India won the third ODI in Chennai by 9 wickets. It should have been a 10-wicket victory, but then Rohit Sharma, who looked so good and was looking good for 100, fell going for a catch in deep mid-wicket. Yashasvi Jaiswal scored his second ODI 100, reaching there in only 6 ODI innings to become the quickest to 2 ODI 100s by an Indian, 1 innings quicker than Shikhar Dhawan, who scored 2 ODI 100s in 7 ODI innings. Well, India 3-0 victors. The ODI squad for England was announced with Virat Kohli and Jasprit Bumrah among the players named. Virat Kohli, of course, subject to his fitness being cleared. It's exciting contest lying ahead. And coming to the Women's World Cup, India faced South Africa, one of the contenders for the title. They did not have enough runs to defend, and South Africa, though the required run rate at one stage was around 8 or 9 runs in over, they made it comfortably thanks to Marizanne Kapp's 80 odd runs. Her 6 hitting abilities were just finished off the Indian bowlers. 158 for 7 was all that India women could make, with Smriti Mandhana playing a strange scoop shot, something that is not often seen from her, clean bowled. Deepti Sharma again playing a scoop shot, giving catch to short fine leg. Harmanpreet Kaur, Shefali Verma, though Shefali Verma got a start, was done in by a bouncer from Shabneen Ismail. A faint glove on the way to the wicketkeeper. Jamima Rodrigues came and went. There was not one significant knock from the Indian top order, and that proved costly for India, as 158 for 7 was never going to be a defendable total. India did, however, fight back. Sri Charani picking up 2 wickets in an over, but then 158 with Marizanne Kapp going all guns blazing, remaining unbeaten on 81 in just 45 deliveries with 4 sixes and 7 fours, that just finished off the match in South Africa's favour. So India and their qualification for the semi-final is now in danger. They ought to have won against South Africa women, but then they were not. They were totally outplayed. India must win the match against Australia, their last league match, but before that they face Bangladesh in between. India expected to win against Bangladesh, but will not have it easy against Australia, who are sitting right on top. For India to qualify, they must win both their remaining 2 league matches and expect other results going in their favour, including South Africa defeating Australia, which is going to be a cracker of a match. But then India did their best, but they were not good enough on that particular day. Staying on cricket and in England, it was good to see New Zealand draw level with England, winning the Headingley Test, the second test of the 3-match series, comfortably by a big margin. New Zealand winning by 253 runs, with Matt Henry picking up 6 wickets in the second innings and 11 in the match for his first ever 10-wicket match haul. It's all to play for in the third and final test in Nottingham from June 25. Whether Ben Stokes is back as England's captain, one will have to wait and see. Now looking at the FIFA World Cup 2026, Cape Verde played brilliantly yet again against 2-time former champions Uruguay, to hold them 2-all on Monday early hours, which is night local time. Cape Verde, who held Spain, have held another former champion, Uruguay, who won the inaugural edition of this FIFA World Cup in 1930 and their second title in 1950. Since then, they have not been the same. And they have been exiting either in the group stage or in the quarterfinal stages in the recent times. Uruguay still were a tough opponent to beat for the World Cup debutants Cape Verde. Trailing 1-2, Cape Verde found the second equalizer brilliantly through Hello Varela. Yes, the name is Hello Varela. Varela scored a brilliant equalizer off a throw-in, catching the Uruguay defenders off guard. So 2-all Cape Verde. Cape Verde is now my favorite team. Of course, Argentina stays my favorite team, but Cape Verde, what a World Cup they have been having. What a debut World Cup they have been having.
My favorite.
Their defense, I thought, was difficult to breach, but then it was not unbreachable as Uruguay showed. But then Cape Verde were not going to give up. They were not going to lose, as we have seen in their first two World Cup matches, holding Spain 0-0 and latest Uruguay 2-all. Spain, who were held to a goalless draw by Cape Verde, had a fantastic second game, blanking Saudi Arabia 4-0. Teenage sensation, 18-year-old Lamine Yamal scored his first World Cup goal, giving Spain the opening goal, but then it was Oyarzabal scored 2 goals, making use of the opportunities, being at the right place at the right time in front of the goal mouth and striking it in to give Spain a 3-0 lead, and finally it became 4-0 thanks to an own goal by Hassan Altambakti. So 4-0, it was only expected that Spain would win against Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia definitely not on par with Cape Verde as far as defense and their goalkeeping was concerned. Cape Verde goalkeeper Wozinha, who lamented about the visa restrictions and who said his mother could not be flown to America for the World Cup because of the visa charges and the restrictions, finally had his mother at the stadium to see Cape Verde draw Uruguay 2-all. Well, that's something encouraging for Wozinha, who did well, but then as we saw, he could not be not scored against, but then his strikers were equally good to draw level and not lose the match. Well, so much to play for. Later tonight, Argentina play their second game against Austria. There were controversies about Argentina's first match against Algeria, where Messi was not red carded for the foul that was being spoken about. Algeria even raising a complaint to the FIFA about that particular incident. Well, Argentina clear favorites to proceed to the knockout, which is the round of 32 first up. 48 teams, but the round of 32. How is it? Well, 12 groups, 4 teams in each group. The first 2 in the groups directly go to the round of 32, and the remaining 8 that make up 32 teams are the best third place finishers after the end of the league stage. So it's on the points, the goal differences, the goal for, the goal against, the goal differences, which all matter, and the best 8 third place finish teams will make up the round of 32. There's so much to look for, and I will be bringing more updates from the sporting world in my next edition. Exciting days ahead, not just with cricket, not just with Football World Cup, but the championship is around the corner. Yes, the third Grand Slam in tennis, Wimbledon, is just a week away. Watch out for it.